Hi, my name is Kate and I'm from Tryzens Global. We're an international digital commerce agency and we believe that amazing things are possible in digital commerce when you look up. So today I wanted to have a quick chat with Zhivko from our team. And I wanted to sort through some of the myths and some of the sort of incorrect information that exists around composable commerce and really get to the core of what some of the business benefits could be should you take on that approach. So first, Zhivko, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do at Tryzens?
Of course. Thanks, Kate. My name is Zhivko, and I head up one of the technology practices at Tryzens. I've been with the organization for more than 11 years now, and I've been heading up the practice since 2017. I'm responsible for the global technical delivery, practice growth, some of our strategic investments, and IP generation.
And some of the clients you work with, time for a humble brag.
Of course. So I have worked with one of the leading global retailers like Sweaty Betty, Cotton On, R.M. Williams, Penfolds, and many, many others through my humble career in commerce.
Perfect. So first, I think it might be best if we explain how we got to composable commerce. So it would be great if you could give just a super quick and simple overview of what a traditional e-commerce platform looked like, and then how we got to headless, and then how we've now moved to composable.
Of course, I'll try to keep things simple, as you said, and I think it's important to provide a bit of a background in terms of how we got to the composable architecture, which is very modern today. So I'll start with the monolithic architecture, as you said. So most of our clients and most of us as developers were very used to the old ways of doing things, where the front end and the back end were clubbed together. So all the front end technologies and all of the back end technologies working hand in hand, and everything gets deployed to the different environments together. So if you want to introduce a change to the front end or a change to the back end or a particular integration, you need to be really careful not to break anything on the front end or on the back end, because everything is clubbed together and everything gets packaged together and being deployed. So that was most probably the thing many years ago, but most probably for the last 7 or 8 years, we're transitioning towards headless and composable architecture. And of course, there's a difference between the two. So headless strategy or approach is primarily focused on decoupling the front end from the back end. And of course, the front end communicates to the back end via APIs. But again, most of the backend integrations and functionalities stay within the commerce engine. So it's primarily decoupling the front end, as I said. The composable approach and strategy, if you like, is actually taking this a step further. And when we talk about composable, we focus on breaking down the monolith kind of architecture or component into multiple components. And to give you an example, like for example, usually within an e-commerce application, we have a search engine, we have a content management system, we have inventory management, we have promotions engine, we have product information management as well. So with a composable architecture or approach, we're actually breaking down this monolith service into multiple components. Like we're plugging out the search provider and we're plugging in headless search provider. Same with the content management, just plugging in the content management system, headless promotions engine, headless product information management, and so on and so forth. So the idea is that we're breaking the monolith, so not just decoupling the front end, but we're breaking the whole monolith service into multiple components, which are communicating to each other and communicating to the front end, again, through APIs.
So I guess essentially what we've gone from is one complete package, right? Front end and back end, all connected, all one ecosystem, to with headless, we're now breaking that apart into the front end and the back end. And then with Composable, we're taking that front end and back end, but we're breaking the back end apart into the separate components and the technologies and tools that we use to provide the best experiences.
Indeed.
Okay.
Very good summary. Yes.
So,
and most probably it's good to know that the beauty of that is that you can also plug in multiple front ends. Because most probably the traditional approach that most retailers and companies take is to build a single application, which is kind of adaptable to mobile, tablet, desktop, and that's absolutely fine. But you can also plug in other front-end applications, like you can plug in a mobile app, for example, which is considered as another kind of front-end. You plug into the same architecture, like the same composable architecture underneath, or a wearable app for your Apple or Android device, or you can even develop something for IoT and again plug into the same architecture. So that's the beauty of the composable architecture.
Okay, exciting. I like it. So with that now being said, let's talk about some of the business benefits, because I think the customer benefits are endless, and we probably need to do another video to explore that in a little bit more detail. But I'm keen on understanding some of the business benefits and some of the enablers that come along with the composable approach.
Of course. I'll most probably start by defining what the top 5 benefits are based on our experience with our customers that we've transitioned to composable architecture. So I'll start with agility. Is the first one, of course, then improved customer experience, then hyper-personalization, which is a very modern term nowadays. Of course, page speed and core web vitals. And the last one is talent, which is very important as well. And I'll let you know why. So
I guess,
going back.
Yeah, sorry. So with agility,
Yes.
what do you mean by agility? How quick are these changes? Like, what changes in the approach when you move to composable?
Yes, I'll explain that in a bit more detail. So you remember when I was talking about the monolith architecture and the fact that everything is clubbed together and needs to be deployed together and make sure that you don't break anything on the front end or the back end.
A really
right,
nerve-wracking moment for a lot of people.
Indeed. Like very, very careful deployments being done across the different environments, right? We all remember that. With the composable architecture, things change dramatically, right? Just because the front end is decoupled from the back end, and as we said, the front end communicates to the different backend components via APIs. So this actually enables the business agility and provides the businesses with the ability to adapt to changing consumer demands more rapidly. And of course, to be able to deploy changes to the customer experience there a lot quicker and a lot easier, just because those two components are now broken down and kind of independent, and they can do releases to the front end independently.
So
and just to give you an example in terms of
I was going to ask your example. Go on.
Yeah. In terms of timelines, we are used to working on a 2 or 3 week sprints with our customers, usually when we're talking about monolith architectures. With composable architecture, our customers will have transitioned to composable. We see releases being done every day, and this is 100% true, and I'm absolutely serious about it. Like customers are innovating honestly on a daily basis, deploying new customer experiences and new features to the front end. So that's the main benefit.
That also means that you can make smaller, more incremental changes quicker, so you can test and learn faster, I guess, is one of the core benefits as well of getting that agility.
Indeed. And of course, this requires a certain level of maturity and having the right infrastructure in terms of having all the unit and functional tests in place to ensure that you still maintain consistency of experience and of course ensure that you're not introducing issues across some of the interaction points across the storefront. But assuming that this is in place, yes, it's exactly as you described it.
So we have
incremental changes a lot faster.
Yeah, we have dipped into it quickly, but talk to me about customer experience. So obviously the speed of change enables quicker changes from the customer. So talk to me a little bit about the customer experience element.
Yes, the customer experience is kind of connected to the agility that I was talking to the first point. So, of course, as customers, we demand more from the brands that we engage with digitally across all the different channels, of course. And improving customer experience is of critical importance.
I suppose as well,
that,
at the moment, there's a lot of emphasis on lifetime value and return customers. And well, not only lifetime value and return customers, but it depends on your business. But some people are really aiming for that acquisition sort of element as well. So I guess, I suppose it's about the ability to make those changes.
Indeed, and that's why I was saying that it's kind of related to agility. Being able to introduce new features. Like, for example, as a customer, I see something that works really well for a particular brand, and I kind of demand this from all the brands that I interact with, and kind of filter out the brands that are not innovating enough and cannot provide the same customer experience. So that's most probably the critical point that all businesses need to understand and focus on. Because they need to continue innovation, and innovation pace is most probably what's important here. And that's why agility and customer experience are the two main points. And of course, the third one is personalization. So if we could transition quickly into personalization. So
talk to me about personalization, and just be careful. We did do a video with MA a couple of weeks ago on personalization versus expectations. So
of course, and it was a great video. I'll just provide my view on personalization, of course. And as I said, so as a customer, I have certain demand for the brands that I interact with, but I also need to know that the brands understand me, understand my needs, my preferences, not just on the digital channel, but across all channels that I communicate to them, like across social channels, marketing, of course, online, in-store as well. So personalization, or hyper personalization as we call it, is again of critical importance, and I need to be ensured by the brand that they know me across every touch point. And that's exactly what Composable enables, right? All of those different components being clubbed together to provide this consistent experience across channels. And most probably the beauty within the Composable architecture is that, for example, on the digital storefront, like when we have the context of the customer, we can plug in the relevant data from the customer data platform, from the marketing platform, from other channels, like from the social channels, and so on and so forth, again, through APIs, and serve relevant product information that speaks to the customer in the relevant language, relevant images, relevant content, and personalize the entire kind of storefront experience all the way from the entry point to the checkout completion. So that's extremely important.
And I wanted to loop back to one of the other benefits you started to highlight, which was page speed, and of course, core web vitals. So let's talk page speed, but I want you to start with the results. So typically, what do you see page speed improve to?
Of course. Just before I get into the results, I want to say that these benefits are all interlinked, right? So page speed is of critical importance for the good customer experience and for the personalization as well, because without page speed, even if you have really good like personalization, you're losing customers, right? So that's why page speed and core web vitals are very, very important. And just to get to the numbers that you're referring to, based on our experience with customers that we've transitioned to Composable, we see page speed improving up to 5 times. So up to 5 times quicker page load times for the key storefront pages like homepage, POP, PDP, which are usually the ones that customers use as an entry point to the storefront, right? Which is a tremendous improvement, and something that creates a really different perception of experience and ease of interaction with the storefront, irrespective of the device. So whether it's a mobile device, desktop device, tablet device, the speed is like your interaction with the storefront is imminent, and all the transitions as well. And our customers are talking about improvement to micro conversions. So not just the general conversion uplift is what they're seeing, and average order value, but also micro conversions and improvements to the transitions across the different pages. So customers spending more time interacting with the brand and the storefront, which of course leads to improved brand loyalty as well. But just to talk about the conversion, like we all also see uplift to conversion as a KPI up to 7%. And this may sound like minor, but it is actually a huge improvement, because if you manage to uplift your conversion with 7% and you're in the industry standard, that's a huge kind of revenue driver and revenue uplift for the business.
I know as well, though, that core web vitals is something that gets hugely impacted by page speed. And one of the benefits you see from an improvement in core web vitals is the fact that you jump up in organic search results. And so in terms of that, your acquisition is going to jump up. And so actually, if you jump your conversion rate up, that's significantly, but you are also increasing the amount of new customers coming to the website, then that is an amazing leap forward. And it also reduces the amount you're spending on ads to get people there and compete with the people that are, you know, in the same vertical or the same field as what you may be.
Absolutely, that is very true, as you said. And I think also the importance of core web vitals is also seen in the customer interaction with the storefront. Because of like core web vitals are specific metrics which are again related to the way the storefront loads and the way customers interact with it. And for example, layout shifts or time to first interactive are very important metrics to create perception of speed again. So when you have really good stats in those two, and of course all the other core vitals which are important, like you create a really different perception to your customers in terms of how quick your storefront is, and therefore you're again improving the customer experience that we were referring to earlier. So 100% something really important that needs to be monitored very closely.
Finally, I wanted to touch on talent. So talk to me about talent and Composable.
Of course, this is last but not least, because people are most probably the most important part of every organization. And without our people, we wouldn't be able to drive innovation. And the reason why Composable enables businesses to attract talent is because of the modern technologies that are being used, primarily on the front end, but on the back end as well. Of course, if you're using API orchestration layer or something related to Node.js or GraphQL and so on and so forth. So those technologies are what is attracting developers nowadays, because in the past, when we were talking about the monolithic architecture, we are most probably talking about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, a little bit of jQuery here and there, and those technologies are way back in the past, most probably 10 years ago.
You can say it, they're boring.
They're boring, yes. I mean, they're still being used. Let's not mislead anyone. So when we talk about front-end frameworks and technologies, we still have HTML and CSS elements, but they're done in a different way, much more modern, with different frameworks. So when we're talking about the modern frameworks like React and Vue and all the composable kind of storefronts, which are based on those technologies, this is what makes the work exciting for developers and what attracts them. And this enables the brands and retailers to be able to attract those really good, talented developers to be creating personalized customer experiences for those brands, because they're getting excited, they're coming prepped with a lot of ideas, they're pushing the brands even to innovate. So that's the main benefit that we see with
I
our
think
customers, and they are also really excited to bring in this new talent and new people with fresh mind and fresh ideas to be pushing them to innovate.
so. Whilst we're on the topic, one of the pieces of information, let's call it, that I hear a lot from people is that you have to have a huge team. You have to have a lot of developers with you on the journey in order to make Composable work. I don't feel like it's true, but
Yeah, that's definitely I wouldn't say a myth, but it really depends on the organization and obviously the business goals as well. So you can drive innovation with smaller teams as well, and we see this working really well with some of our customers. So they have several developers on the front end clubbed together with kind of the same level of resources on our end, which are primarily full stacks, so that they can support both backend and front end development. So this works really well, and most probably this is kind of a standard team structure. Let's say between 5 and 10 people is something that works really well for the majority of businesses that are at the most probably mid market level, most probably not, of course, big enterprises, but of course, again, depending on the business goals and what the teams are trying to achieve, and of course the composable approach, which enables businesses to focus on individual components, this team size could be replicated tenfold if you like. So you can create squads that are focused on individual components, and you can break down the architecture into those components that you want to focus on. So
you could have a team, like a squad, of 10 working on CX, or a squad of 10 working on optimization, or a squad of 10 working on search only and merchandising. So it can be as big or as small as you want it to be, depending on what your ambition is.
Indeed, I think that's a really good summary to keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Zhivko, for sharing your thoughts. I think we need to do a follow-up on the customer benefits. But I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Of course, it was a pleasure as always.